All right, let's get set up to do our side leg kick series. We're gonna bring ourselves to the back edge of our mat so that our head and our shoulders and our rib cage and our hips are all lined up along the back edge of the mat. And then we're gonna swing our feet forward so that we have a nice little angle of our legs out in front of us. So positioning with your upper body, you could lay your head all the way down on your arm, or you could prop yourself up. Today, I'm gonna lay all the way down on my bottom arm. The top hand could push down into the mat in front of you, or you could take it back behind your head. As we do this series today, what I want to remind you is this series is, of course, going to strengthen our hip muscles, but it is also meant to be a whole body exercise. So don't forget about what's going on in your upper body throughout this series. So we want to keep our upper body nice and stable and strong so that we have a good place to kind of move from, and we can really efficiently strengthen our hips. All right, I'm going to put my hand back behind my head. I'm going to activate my upper body. I'm going to take my top leg to hip height, and we're going to start with some sweeps front to back, keeping our upper body as still as we can. As I inhale, I'm going to come forward and do a kick, kick. And as I exhale, I'm going to sweep the leg behind me, kick, kick. So I'm going to get that breath going. And as that leg swings front to back, I'm making sure that I'm not rocking in my rib cage. I'm not moving in my upper body, or I'm trying not to, as that leg goes forward and then reaches behind. We're going to get one more of those in. Kick, kick, and reach, reach. Now I'm going to take the leg over top of my bottom leg, and I'm going to turn out my leg, or turn my thigh and knee up toward the ceiling, and keep it that way as I point my foot to lift the leg, flex my foot to come back down. How high I lift is how high can I lift and not let my hip feel like it wants to roll back as I lift and lower. Inhaling as you lift up, exhale as you come back down. Let's get two more of those. We'll shoot for 5. Point and flex. One more time. Point and flex. Now the next set, we're simply switching our foot. We're still keeping that external rotation. We're going to flex up and point back down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to come back down. Throughout this whole series, our stomach muscles are pulling up and in. We're active in our upper body. We get our flex up and our point to come back down. We're going to do one more of those. Flex and point. All right, then we're going to go into a little series called rond de jambe. They're like fancy half circles. So I'm going to start with my leg at hip height, foot pointed. I'm going to sweep my leg to the front, and then I'm going to lift and draw a rainbow with my leg and reach it behind me. How big you go is how big you can go and not rock or move in your upper body. That bottom foot's going to be really important, that bottom leg. Press it down into the mat to anchor your upper body. Inhaling for about half of that, exhaling for that second half. We're going to do one more in that direction. Sweep forward, lift, reach behind you. Now we're going to go ahead and reverse. We're going to sweep the leg back behind and then lift up and over. Inhaling for half, exhaling for your second half. Remember to keep those core muscles engaged. Inhale, the leg reaches back. Exhale as you circle up and over. Bottom leg nice and anchored that entire time. Let's get one more in. Sweep behind, and then that lift to come up and over. Awesome. All right, guys, we're going to switch and do that all on the other side. So I'm going to be laying down, lining up my head, shoulders, hips, ribcage, hips in a nice straight line. So if I was looking at myself from above, I kind of line up with the back edge of my mat. And then I'm going to swing my legs way out in front. Remember, you could have that hand pressing down into the mat, or you could take it back here behind your head. All right, I'm going to start with that top leg at hip height and start with our sweeps forward back. Inhale, flex, kick. Exhale, point, reach. Remember, our goal is to keep our upper body nice and stable, so that should feel like some work to do that as that leg sweeps front to back. We're going to do 2 more. Inhaling as you come forward. Exhale to reach behind. No rocking in those rib cages. Sweeping the leg forward and then point and reach behind. All right, next one is our battement. Leg is over top the bottom leg. We're turning the leg out. So the thigh and knee aim for the ceiling. Point up, flex down. Remember, only go as high as you can go and not have that thing happen where your hip rolls back. So for me, that feels like when my leg gets up high, I have to kind of roll my hip forward to maintain my stability. Point up, flex back down. Inhale, lift. Every time you exhale, tighten those stomach muscles up and in a little bit more. Let's switch our foot. Flex as you come up, point as you reach back down. Inhale up, exhale, and reach back down. Lengthening that leg the entire time. I like to pretend like I'm trying to get my leg, top leg longer than the bottom leg as I come back down. One more time. Flex up, point and reach to come back down. All right, next up is that rond de jambe series. Leg starts in parallel, about hip height, foot is pointed. You're gonna sweep the leg to the front and then you're gonna lift and see how far you can go behind without rocking or moving in that upper body. Sweep forward and lift and reach behind. Feel how that bottom leg, that bottom foot has to press down into the floor to help you anchor. Those core muscles pulling up and in is gonna help keep your rib cage and your hips nice and stable. We got one more there. Sweep forward, lift, and reach behind you. And then we have to reverse. Sweep the leg behind, and then lift and circle to the front. Inhaling for half, exhaling for that second half as you come up and over. That lengthening of your leg that entire time. And remember, just keep it in that range where you can do it nice and controlled. Not a lot of movement through that upper body. Let's get one more in. Sweep it back, and then lift and circle to come around. Awesome job.